One up on Wall Street. Would you invest in you?
Morning. Anyway, today's topic is, would you invest in you? So why am I speaking today? That was the first thing people came up with. I had this idea about a book I always wanted to speak about, which finally I get to today, One Up on Wall Street. And so the question is, if you looked outside about your own business, even though you've put lots of time and effort into it, would it be attractive, or could you make it more attractive? And then also, if there are no questions, it's a workshop, and I hope I run out of time to do my slides, but I am happy to talk about what I do. Got put on the AIBC, Artificial Intelligence Blockchain stage, so managing a hedge fund that deals with Bitcoin derivatives. Obviously, I deal with both of those things a lot. So what's my own story, and why did I want to give this speech? In the early 90s, the first time I went out on my own, I was a computer consultant, and it was a really difficult business, very competitive. I didn't particularly like the client base that I had. The universities are really tough to work for. And I saw a book sitting on my sister's coffee table in Los Angeles. And I later talked to her about it. She actually remembered this conversation 30 years later. And Peter Lynch goes into this. He was a famous fund manager. He wrote up a book called One Up on Wall Street. And he had the same kind of record as Warren Buffett, but the famed investor, although he's not as rich because he was managing other people's money and not basically his own. But he talks about, things that are sort of counterintuitive from the start and attractive businesses to invest in. The one he comes up is Cajun cleansers, which removes mildew stains in the Louisiana bayou or something like that. But when he describes it, it's actually quite attractive. So we both said, wow, I wish we did something that we would want to invest in, and we realized we didn't. And so I sold out of that company to a publishing house a year later, and just sort of had my mind open to something that would be more attractive. And so one of the companies that came across my desk while I was working for them was this resume book company that was really specialized in just doing resume books for job fairs, for business schools, human resource societies, and job fairs for newspapers. And we bought it for like 1.5 million, which was at the time a large amount of money for a group, but everybody I presented to liked it. The money came in, and we sold it 3 years later for $9 million. Then in the early millennium, I started a finance company, but it was focused on the sort of the least glamorous business in the auto industry, not the most, and that also was a very successful strategy for me. So who am I? Where am I? Where do I want to go today? My name is Nick. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and I have a BA from Yale and MBA from UCLA. I've run 2 commercial finance companies and done 2 buyouts, one successful, one unsuccessful in both. And I currently run a hedge fund, which is the best thing I've ever done, beyond the money. It just seems to keep everybody happy. But so what I'm looking for today is, if anybody's interested in the hedge fund, I'm happy to talk about it. And then also, like I said before, like if you're know what you're looking for, and I was very informed by the value investing book I read. Sometimes it just pops off the pages, and you run into someone. Even today at this conference, there's someone around a company a lot like one of the ones that Peter Lynch recommended in his book. So what are the investment traits that we would really like? Simplicity. It's very easy to understand. Like if you make a slot machine for a casino, it's right there. You know what it does. And it's also probably less competitive than that costs thousands of dollars, and the PC that made it is like $500 or something. A boring or niche industry, Cajun cleansers, according to Peter Lynch, is really great because you need it all the time and no one thinks about it, versus flashy, the latest biotech or software or whatever, can be very competitive. And even though you see some astounding stories at the top of the food chain, like the Magnificent Seven in the United States, Google, Amazon, all of those, the next tier down, if people just do useful things, can lead to a very fulfilling business or career. Repeat revenue model is great. Carpet cleaning, like in this convention hall, would be a very good business because you need it every day or every hour. One time, if you do the best toy company in the world and make the toy that every child wants, that's probably not a good business because they buy it once and then they have it. Inside ownership, employees owning the business and getting excited about it's really great. And spin-offs actually are also remarkably successful. Just, you know how competitive the gaming industry is. I talk to people here about it. Affiliates consolidating. You know, riverboat monopoly, where it's the only one on the river nearby, is great. You know, iGaming can be very, very competitive. So a moat or a niche is very, very important. So I don't know about any of these companies. I haven't seen the financials, but I just paged through it. Like, around you, there are probably business to admire, emulate, invest in that are, you know, would on the surface attract a Peter Lynch. The Altenar does the software for sports books. The AmuseNet's a spin-off from a bigger company. Mascot Gaming, I was just paging through people who are attending. It's founder-led. That's very good. The Soft Gamings is an aggregator white label for casino content. So every month they're getting a payment from the casinos they work for. Great Tech, again, a spin-off. So instead of going into specific companies, let me do what Peter Lynch did in the business and invent like a made-up one that he would just love, and like the concepts within it. This one is called Spilluminati instead of Illuminati. And all they do is clean up the carpets at casinos. We control the stains and the strip. They even have their own logo. And who would this be? It'd be a carpet cleaning specialist on the Las Vegas Strip, where all the janitors from the Bellagio just split off into their own company. They manage it themselves. There's one graduate of Illinois State University who's sort of the nominal president. There's no Harvard MBAs, nor are they graduating, figuring how are we going to, you know, compete in the carpet cleaning business. And think about this business, 24/7, you need them, not once a month, not one time, not once a year. You know, drink spills, chili pie, hot dog eating contest, they're your people. They even have, now one thing Peter Lynch liked is using the technology or having, you know, your own intellectual property. They have their own patented scent, the Eau de Cap d'Eden rug after the, what's that famous hotel? Europeans can tell me, Eden Rock and Cap d'Antibes, where all the movie stars go. They can make your casino smell like that all the time. Every casino boss knows about them. The London manager gets an award of the Garter. Las Vegas got the key to the city. Good financials important. They have no debt on the books. Their income is 25% of the equity they invested every year. Those are Warren Buffett-like statistics. And not only do they have to advertise, but like people wear their T-shirts because they love them so much. And again, they use technology. I mean, I've seen, if you're at a carpet cleaning company, that's not a tech company, right? But I've seen when I've been in Singapore, there are these little robots that come around and pick up your drinks at Pete's Coffee. And on Amazon, you can already buy the blue floor cleaning robots. So why not have like one guy supervising 10 of those, you know, greeting the guests like R2D2 and, you know, cleaning up. It is possible now, and like, you know, a company that really cared about its customers could do that and have 10, you know, one person do the job of 10. So anyway, this was built as a workshop. What would be really cool is anybody who wants could come up and talk about what they do. Like, could it be more niche? Could you have recurring revenue? Do you have these things? Are you part of a bigger company that could spin off, although I don't want to cause any corporate controversies? Does your team have skin in the game? I mean, like, even before I sold out of the first deal I was in, you know, I was excited when I would go skiing in Aspen or something. I could tell other, you know, fancy people on the chairlift what I was working on, and there's a sense of excitement about building something that could be really big. So anyway, if I don't want to embarrass anybody, if you've got a business, come up. You can share the stage and talk about it if you like. Anybody? Okay. Well, if you change your mind, interrupt. Also, like, because I'm on the AIBC stage, I thought it might be interesting talking a little about what I do, the hedge fund. So if there are no questions, I'll just continue, but please interrupt anytime. Okay, let's go back into. So my calling card is 2 slides down. Yeah. So I started this in 2019 when I found out I was going to be a dad for the first time. You know, I had, that's at the left side of the chart, and I just figured, I needed to make income some way. It wasn't like I had a grand plan and I said, do I get a normal job? Well, let's not get carried away, but I do need to start doing something that brings in monthly or quarterly income. So it's just a really old trade that where you buy the underlying asset. It could be, coal, oil, corn. Farmer Jones back in the day made sure he didn't lose his farm by selling forward contracts, and that's what you do with Bitcoin. The difference is with Bitcoin, you make a lot more money at it. And if you stick with this pattern we found for a long period of time, you can make more money than even Bitcoin. So, the blue line is us, and the reason it's so high is that I don't know if the numbers are too small to see, but in 2021, Bitcoin cratered, and like half of our portfolio can't really lose money in dollars. And not only that, but you make money on it. So in 2023, and that's just simply selling the Bitcoin, owning it, and simultaneously selling a forward contract so you make a profit on it. Now, in 2023, Bitcoin lost 66% of its value. And our portfolio gained something about 13. It would have been more, but the trade just dropped off at the end of the year. And so do the math. If you don't lose 3/4 of your money, it's sort of like seeing Bitcoin at roughly 100,000 go to 400,000 right now. Over the period of time, investment is just multiplying a series of numbers. And in the end, those huge negative ones, or fractions of one, have a big effect on the overall outcome. Let me go back a slide. Would Peter Lynch like my business? Sort of, yes. He talks about diversification in his book, like getting into things you don't know, and I've certainly done that. They were off the books of my hedge fund, but like everything I've invested in other than what we know really well, the crypto derivatives, has not been comparatively worth the time in the 5 3/4 years I've been running it. And he liked financial companies. He always talked about Fannie Mae. I actually think people should do useful things like, building slot machines or whatever, but moving money around has some role in the world. With Fannie Mae, he liked because they have fewer employees than Bank of America had branches at the time he invested in it. They handle all the mortgages for the United States. He wouldn't like it because it's very hard to market a hedge fund. And yes, we've leveraged technology really well, and I can tell the things we're using it for here. Oh, sorry, one other thing. I actually returned all our investors' money in 2022 because the main trade, the contango trade, buying the assets, selling futures, and then buying, selling futures against each other as they fluctuate in price, that went away for a year. And so we also sell the options. So if you're interested in my specific market, one huge inefficiency, you could do this yourself without even coming to us, is that you can make really good income in Bitcoin by selling options on it. And the market thinks that Bitcoin is way more volatile than it actually is. As more and more institutional investment comes in, the prices have actually stabilized. Moving 2,000 when it's 100, 3,000 is a lot different than moving 2,000 when it's 10,000. It's a 2% move versus a 20% move. So the derivatives, like what we trade, are based on volatility. So you're selling something that's probably going to expire worthless and you're in income, and you're getting a premium for it. The volatility, which is how you price derivatives, is priced at about 50%. And the trailing volatility, what it actually was, the realized volatility over the last year for Bitcoin is about 30%. So that's an exceptionally good deal. So we have a little more risk now where we can lose money in dollars during the quarter, but as you can see, the trade-off's been worthwhile. No, it said AIBC. Is AI part of our business? Definitely yes. And it's the same way. There are people like me who I go buy them, and they've just always got ChatGPT or Gemini or something out, because you can't function without having a Harvard or Oxford educated graduate sitting next to you for $20 a month. It's just irresistible, and it's so helpful. But my concern about using it for trading is that, like traditionally in financial markets, the people who made a lot of money did what I did, and they just stayed in a single pit. I come from Chicago, and on the Mercantile Exchange, you saw these people literally screaming in the soybean or the corn pit. That's all electronic now, but that's how it worked back in the day. And so you knew that market really well, everything that affected it. And so the thing is, when I think about artificial intelligence models, they bring in a lot of information. Like the driverless taxi cabs, Waymo, you have in Los Angeles and San Francisco now. They literally incorporate millions and millions of hours in driving experience. So you have like the perfect driver that even my sister trusts with her children more than an Uber driver now. But like, could you develop that in something so narrowly focused? Before I would have said no, and now I'd have to say yes. So, like, the worst thing that can happen in derivative trading is like almost the best thing, because like when you sell an option, you're placing a bet that either you're selling a contract that says either I'll make 20% in dollars, or 2% in Bitcoin this quarter, or a point and a half in Bitcoin. Both are good deals. Both I'm happy with. And before, when it ran up like 10%, or 20% right at the beginning of the quarter, only 10 days into it, I'm just like, let it live. You base this based on probabilities. It could come down again. And is that the right answer? Actually, no, it's not. And you guys are from gaming industry, or maybe you've seen the movie. It's an old movie with Kevin Spacey, like 15 years ago. Remember, he's talking about the variable change problem, where you have the new car behind one door, or two doors that have a goat. And I could go through the exercise, but we probably don't have much time. Like, basically, most people are going to pick one. We tell you there's a goat behind three, and then like, you have the chance to switch your answer. Most people think no, because the game show host is trying to trick them or something. But the truth of the matter is, statistically, you're dealing with new information, because there's a goat behind one of the doors. So you always want to switch to two, because all that extra, your first chance only has 1/3 probability, right? And all the 2/3 gets shifted onto the second door now. So you always want to change your answer. And since I started doing that, like, we've done better in these situations. So I hosted a conference kind of like this, but much smaller, in Bali last month for our hedge fund, where I knew one of the talkers was going to talk about AI. And so I figured, like, okay, I mean, he's giving the speech, but I should have something to talk about. I mean, I do this for a living, right? Trading in AI. And so we put it up to ChatGPT, like nothing fancy, not a specialized AI. And so it's a thought experiment. It was very interesting. And actually, we followed the advice. And in retrospect, we were right. I'm sorry, I was right listening to this guy. And so, like, the good thing is, for now, you've hired someone who would cost $8,000 a month back in the United States, and it's $20 sitting right next to you. And he's always there. And he does really fast research. It's either like immediate, or you can do the deep research, and it takes, I don't know how many people use this all the time, but it takes like 15 minutes to research something. And I screen printed my trading screens and said, this is what's going on. What should I do about it? And it basically nailed it. Now, it did have some hallucinations. Like, it wanted to, this is artificial intelligence. Human intelligence wants to be useful or please you or do something right. And it guessed the Bitcoin price, which was totally wrong, which I corrected. But it mimicked enough understanding of the strategy that was actually really helpful. You've got a new situation where it really can go either way, up or down. And so in this particular case, within the context, which is only the end of the month, we cut our losses on the options, sold higher ones to mitigate some of those losses, and it moved up to 108,000 from 104, and it turned out to be exactly the right choice. So I'm going to have a mathematician go over it with me later, but it performed pretty well. But as I said before, as poker players and options traders know, sometimes you're just lucky. So I have a video channel. I'll put up the answer on this later. I think we were right. So anyway, again, let's talk or workshop. I was hoping someone would come up or ask questions about what I do, but does anybody have questions on the hedge fund or want to talk about your own business? It was supposed to be a workshop, not a speech. I can't believe you're such good listeners. Okay. Now, how about you? What do you do for a living?
I have a startup.
Okay, tell me about the startup.
Yeah, it's a platform Fine, I'm not shy. Okay, so it's a platform that connects iGaming operators with local micro and nano influencers on a performance basis. So basically, a new way to do affiliate marketing, in a way.
So is this, sorry, I'm not an expert in it. So would you call yourself part of the affiliate marketer industry?
Yeah, it's kind of like an affiliate network with a twist.
Okay, so you're reaching out to new, so it's very competitive, yeah, but they need influencers to like play games on their casino and
Yes.
show how fun it is. Okay, so like what's a special edge or niche?
Well, it's very local, first of all, and well, it takes very long time, and most operators do it manually right now. So they just have people that go through Instagram or YouTube or whatever, and we are creating a platform. So it's very localized, and our niche is micro and nano influencers, not the very big guys, but like the smaller ones, which convert better, but the volume is lower. So like to produce a good volume of conversion, you need like a few hundred of them. So again, like we eliminate a lot of manual work and eliminate a lot of distrust, because sometimes casinos don't pay them, sometimes they get paid but don't produce content. So we sort of streamline this whole acquisition process.
So I don't want you to give away your aces in the hole, so to speak, but like, is there any special technique that you use that's completely unique? For instance, like I saw these people that do a hashtag about events people went to locate them and stuff like that. Is it, if you want to talk about any tricks of the trade or what makes you special, or the moat around your business, that'd be great.
I mean, it's a platform, so basically we don't create content. We connect content creators with operators, and we use influencer marketing to get more influencers on board. So it's a little bit of a flywheel. Yeah, the more influencers we get, the more influencers they refer. Yeah.
And are other people purporting to do the same thing, or you've really found a niche with it?
Well, I think it's sort of a niche, and it automates very manual process right now. So yeah, I think so.
Cool. All right, that makes it
But
faster.
I don't know. I was looking at your list and I was trying to see what's boring about it, and I didn't find anything boring, unfortunately.
Well, that's a problem. It is kind of fun to come to these things.
So, I don't know. I need to think about the boring aspect, I guess.
Well, yeah, you'll never find the perfect business. Sometimes you can make money and it's interesting, right? Okay, cool. Anything else about it, or
I don't know. Ask me.
does anybody else want to talk about their business, or how are we doing on time, Olga? 10 minutes? There's a lot of space. Anybody? There must be some startup person who has a startup or works for a business or inspires to it. Or the derivative trading. I know that'll put you to sleep sometimes, but it has been lucrative.
Okay, but then I can ask a question maybe.
Oh, sure, okay.
Since the topic is would you invest in you, so what should I think about when it comes to investability of my platform? So it's like a niche, it's a, sort of a new topic in iGaming, influencer marketing. I think we solve a real problem. The team is solid, so like what should I think? What more?
I mean, honestly, up here, like my gut, when I hear about something really competitive, I would say be very self-honest and say, are you getting the green lights? Or am I grinding myself to death? Because I remember, like, when I ran the computer consulting company I was talking about, once I just got so frustrated at, like, pounding the mouse or something at 11 at night, realizing how hard I was working. So if it's really competitive, you're not being rewarded. One thing you could do, which is what I did, is just sell out. Or just realize at some point, when I'm at my age instead of yours, it's a lot easier to realize, but your time is really valuable. And you could look back at someone. So I mean, that's the one thing that entrepreneurs have to realize, and I was bad at. Sometimes you're just grinding yourself to death, and it's not worth it. But then, I mean, anything that makes you more special, and not in terms of, I like that it's a focused market. Like you're the woman to come to for micro-influencers or whatever. To the degree you can have fun representing them and get known in it, that's great. So anything that just makes you unique is really good here, because it's hard. It's not bad to run a casino. It's not bad to be a marketer for one, and a lot of people want to do it. So if you're beating your brains out for nothing, just acknowledge that. But if not, make yourself special. Like, I'm the go-to person for micro-influencers.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Oh, I'm sorry. There's not anything else or no?
I don't know.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
All right. Well, if there's no one else, like, call it. Thank you very much, and yeah, I hope I meet you, some of you later.
Bravo. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Thanks a lot.